is. Excellent. I wanted to make another video about mommy guilt because it is from the devil. I have made a video about this before, but it was a long time ago.
Okay.
And I was thinking, like, how am I going to word this, because I don't want it to sound like we're free to do whatever we want, because that's not true. We do need to be sacrificial, selfless, and serve our families and our children, but we don't need to cater to them to the point where, like, everything is our children and we don't do anything for ourselves and we don't do anything for our home or our husband and everything is them, you know. This is yours. I'm just going to add a little bit more food to the plate. So if you could just hold on a minute. Or you can take that and I'll bring the rest of the food for you. So I think mommy guilt comes in when we add to God's law. We add to the word, condemning ourselves pretty much, because the Lord tells us how to be parents. He tells us to love our children, consider them a joy and a reward from Him. He tells us to discipline them. He tells us to not provoke them. And He tells us to teach them about Him and His laws and His word. And that's pretty much it, you know? So we want to be a picture of Christ to our children. We are discipling our children, and that does take investment and time, and then obviously it takes a lot of sacrifices because they're little. They have different needs throughout the course of their really little years, and as they get older, some things get easier and some things get harder. So all of that's there, and that's true, and I'm not saying that it's wrong. Like, I'm saying when we feel guilty about things that are not disobedience to God, that is not of God. And so we are adding to His word, we're condemning ourselves and adding all these standards that are not even God's standards. So why? You know, why do that to ourselves? There isn't like this exact formula, like you should have one extra thing just for yourself, you should do this, you should do that. There isn't that, because everybody's life is different, everybody's husband's jobs are different, everybody's schedules are different, everybody's number of children and the ages of the children are different. And I'm not saying you should have something for yourself. I think it's nice when you can, and it's nice when you can do a girls' night or a Bible study or go out shopping for a couple of hours, but that may not be possible in your season of life. And so that doesn't mean you're wrong, and it doesn't mean if you are doing those things you're wrong or right. It just means if you are doing those things, don't feel guilty, but make sure that the balance is there, that you're not neglecting. And then if you're not doing those things, don't feel like you're entitled to those things, because no, you're not. But hopefully there'll be a season soon where you will have the opportunity to do those things. And then when you do, don't feel guilty. It's really interesting how it's a balancing, you know, everything's a balancing act. But there have been many times where I've been making a video, and mind you, you see my videos, they're 5 minutes long, and most of them don't have my kids in the background. Some of them do, briefly, and some of them have them the whole time, like this. And my child will speak to me, and I'll say, hold on just a minute, buddy, I'm doing a video. And people will be like, I can't believe you didn't talk to your child, and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? Teach my children that every time they open their mouth, I'm going to drop everything, even if I'm speaking to an adult, or even if I'm in the middle of something important, like ministry, and say, yes, dear? No, of course not, because what kind of man is that going to make my child? He's going to think that everybody's going to do that in the world, and that is not true. I want my children to learn that the world doesn't revolve around them. I want my children to learn that things don't go our way all the time, and I want them to be to know how to handle correctly in a way that honors God, how to respond and behave when things don't go your way, you know? And that is, you know, the character and the lessons that I want to instill in my children, not, yes, I'll drop everything for you right now. What is it, son? What is on your mind? You know, because when we're adults, we might have something to say and we might have to wait, because that's part of life. And when we're adults, things don't go our way most days. And how do we respond? You know, we want to teach our children those things. So I don't agree that I should stop and talk to my children when they want to ask me a question when I'm in the middle of a YouTube video or a phone call or a message or whatever. Unless it's absolutely necessary, then yes, I will stop and speak to them. But most of the time I'll say, hold on, mommy's doing something important. And when I'm done in 3 minutes, we'll talk. And they can wait 3 minutes, you know? And I mean, there's examples like that, endless amounts of examples like that. It's not just interrupting, it's, you know, like snacks. Like I'll close the kitchen at a certain time of the day after dinner's done and it's time for, you know, and the kitchen's clean, dinner's done, dishes are washed and put away. I am not going to make a big snack if they get hungry again. I'll give them options. They don't have access to everything in the kitchen. Some people would think, oh, your child's hungry. How could you do that? Well, I'm not going to be a slave to my child. I am a slave to the Lord. Well, there's more food. Hang on just a minute, okay? I'm going to be a slave to the Lord, and I'm going to...
Soup?
Yes, you want some soup?
But no, with carrots.
I won't put carrots. I'll just put potatoes and all the other stuff, okay? You want it like that? In a little cup?
But there might be a carrot in there.
I'll pick it out if it is. You could feed it to Mama.
I'll feed food to you. I'll feed my soup to you. No way, it's my soup.
So, what was I saying? I forgot. Let me check. So I love that just happened. I'm like, I won't let my kids interrupt me. And I'm like talking to them for 2 minutes and forget what I'm saying. So, yeah, the snack example. Sometimes, most of the time I'll say no. You know, you can have a banana or a piece of bread with honey. You know, something really, really easy that I don't have to like prepare. But obviously sometimes I'm like, yeah, let's have crackers and cheese and fruit and let's all sit at the table and do our devotional at the table tonight, and we'll like all eat and we'll take longer than usual and go to bed later. That's just special times, special moments. It's okay to not have a rigid, exactly this is what we do all the time schedule, and they're gonna remember those things and it's gonna stick out in their memories and just be special to them. Those are probably the things they'll remember more than the routine. Because the routine is not memorable. It's just mundane life, you know, day to day, But then those special things boom out in their memory and they'll remember that and it'll mean something special to them. So that's encouraging too, you know. You don't have to feel guilty if you're busy cleaning for 2 hours. As long as you don't do that, you know, every single day cleaning for 8 hours long. It's okay if one day you clean for 2 hours. That's one day in 18 years, you know. I battle this too, so I'm not lecturing. I battle this. I will be occupied for a longer time than I expected to be, and then I'll be thinking, oh no, I gotta get to the kids, they're by themselves, and it's like, why? They're fine. They're fine. They're having fun. They're playing. They're getting along. Cool. I don't remember as a kid playing and having a blast and thinking, my mama should be with us right now. She's ignoring us. Ever. I remember having a blast, wanting to do the next cool fun thing. Kids are not sitting there feeling neglected. You know, it's not happening. That is us making up these ridiculous emotions for our children and then living by them like if they're truth, and then wearing ourselves out emotionally, mentally, physically, trying to live up to this ridiculous standard that isn't even biblical, and we're shoving, piling, heaping on ourselves. So it's just funny when you stop and think about when I was a kid, what, you know, I didn't care. So that's not to say I'm not intentional about taking moments in the day to stop and hug and kiss and sit and snuggle up and read and have special moments. But some days that doesn't happen, and then we'll have a day where there's like nothing to do and we'll just like pile up for 2 hours on the bed. And great, that is going to be another memory, you know. It's just life, you guys. You know, Satan wants us to feel guilty, and he wants us to despair, and he wants us to feel like we're inadequate, and we can fall into that pit, or we can say, the Lord is sovereign. He has all of this in his hand. I have been given his word to follow, and I'm doing that to the best of my ability. And along the way, I'm asking for guidance and wisdom from him, and he is providing it. And I'm going to love my children, and they're going to know they're loved. You know, it doesn't have to be, we need to do this and this and this and this and this and this and this, and that equals success. No, because this and this and this and this isn't in the Bible, and it's going to wear you out. And then when the formula doesn't work out the way you expected it to work out, you're going to feel like it's your fault. There is no formula. None. None. The Lord has your kids in his hands. All we can do is obey and pray and hope. The rest is in God's plan. We don't know what is going to happen with our kids. I pray and hope with all my heart that my children will cling to the things we have taught them, and we will continue to teach them throughout their life, and that they will ultimately surrender their life to Christ, and that God will give them faith to believe, and that they will stay on the path of righteousness, marry godly women, raise godly children. There is nothing I hope for and pray for more in my life than that. Is there any guarantees? No. Am I following a perfect formula that's going to give me that equation, that answer, that, what is the word? I don't know. No, there is no formula. All I can do is obey God and hope and pray. So, yes. So I'm going to read now to my children, and we're going to eat. And I hope that this comes at an encouraging time for you. Don't feel guilty, and when you do, fight it, because it is sin.